Kevalam Baba, Nam Kevalam Baba, Nam Kevalam Baba, Nam Kevalam. So, namaskar, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. My name is Gustavo or Krishnatma, and I'm so happy to have you join us here at our usual Saturday morning online meditation. Let me make sure that the sound is good. If there's any issues with sound just now, let me know, please. Okay. And so here at Tantra Thoughts and Vistara Circle, I can help you have a better relationship with the universe and yourself by sharing with you tantric meditation and wisdom and secrets, and also obviously spiritual community, which is what Saturdays are all about, connecting ourselves with wonderful like-minded people and personal development. And today we are going to be actually reframing the original question. We were supposed to talk about discipline and self restraint, but I'm going to be reframing that. Okay. And potentially opening up a new perspective on that in a new discussion today. So we'll get to that later. Right now, for anybody that might be 100% brand new, let me go ahead and share some usual reminders that we cover. First thing is to make sure that you are registered in our email list. If you're registered on the email list, then you get the reminders to attend our weekly programs. We have two going on per week, Wednesday mornings with Dada Vishvarupananda. He covers a lot of like spiritual philosophy. And here we do a mix of personal development and spiritual philosophy. Also, if you sign up, you will get a free ebook, the ebook on the yamas and niyamas. Okay, so there is the link. I invite you to join. Also, you want to have a cushion handy and be in a quiet place today for meditation. And right now, please go ahead and start announcing yourself in the chat. Tell us the highlight of your week. Tell us how many times you've been here before, especially if you've been here less than 4 times. Then please let us know exactly how many times you've been here. The reason is because we offer the meditation that you're going to have today, here, the guided meditation, but you can also get another meditation lesson, one that involves prescribing you a personal mantra. So that one we work up toward, and you become eligible for that. One of the requirements is to attend our online meditations 4 times. Okay. And to give you the full scope, also to read this ebook and start practicing the yamas and niyamas and write about your experience with those in our Facebook group. So, thank you to our wonderful, wonderful regular community members who are here often and have heard that spiel so many times. So, thank you all for bearing with us, being accommodating for anybody who might be new. So let's see who has joined. My friend Rick is here. Oh my goodness. Rick, it's such a pleasure to have you join. What's going on with you? How's life in New York? He says already did. Already did. I'm assuming you already have the ebook, the Yamas and the Yamas ebook, or you're already familiar with them. You can clarify that, please, but mainly I want to hear about how life is treating you. So thanks for joining us. That's right, you're a filmmaker. Your profile picture there has you with a camera. I've been doing a lot more like sort of short type. I wouldn't call them films, but more like story videos on my YouTube channel. So it would be nice to chat with you about that as well. And here is Karen. Namaskar, Karen from Greenville, Tennessee. How are you doing this morning? Please let us know. Thanks for joining. Graciela. Hi, Graciela. Namaskar. It's so wonderful to have you. And you're not far. You are in Woodbridge. You know what, Graciela? I want to actually send you an invitation right now. I'm sorry, this might be a little awkward doing it here through our at the online meditation. But if you're free tomorrow, I know that's super short notice. Some Vistara Circle members, we're going to go hiking tomorrow. Okay, so if you're free tomorrow and you'd like to get out to Shenandoah, then maybe you can join us. All right, I'll send you after the broadcast the address and everything. Let us know if you're free. Okay, to go for a hike during the day. Karen says sound is good. Thank you. And Jamila has joined. She says, Namaskar, everyone. Namaskar, Jamila. It's so nice to have you. Let us know, please, what's going on with you. Okay? How are you doing? Now, let me cover. I don't see that there's anybody 100% new right now, so I will just go through this agenda points briefly. So, as many of you know, we start with the greetings and the reminders. 1 second, please. I'm going to take this off. We're going to do kirtan as usual. Then we'll have a guided meditation. And then we'll have our talk today, which is going to be a little different than what was advertised, which is discipline and self-restraint. I'm going to reframe that, still in that same world. And then we'll have a discussion about that. And then we will have announcements. Usually, my announcements are the new video that is released on Tantra Thoughts on Saturdays. I'll tell you a little bit about that. Okay? All right. So we can get to a couple more comments before we start kirtan. Now, I see that Mira has joined. Namaskar, Mira. It's nice to have you. Tell us, please, how many times you've been here and tell us where you're joining us from. Okay? And Karen says, I'm doing so well this week. Spring is a busy time and feeling blessed. That sounds great. Congratulations. Glad you're doing well. Shannon has joined. Shannon, same thing for you. This is super short notice. I'm sorry about that. But if you are free tomorrow, um, it's kind of all impromptu. So if you're free tomorrow, please join us for a hike up in Shenandoah. Okay, I'll send you some details later via chat. And I'm inviting her personally because she is, local. I'm in Alexandria, Virginia as well. And Graciela says, I would love to, but I have my 3 kids. Your kids can come if you'd like, because we're going to, I don't remember, I think it's Hawksbill. Hawksbill, that part of the mountains, you drive up to them. We're not doing anything strenuous tomorrow. You drive up to the top. It's about 2 hours from DC. And then once you get to the parking lot, it's just it's like a 30-minute climb from there, and it's very simple. It's not only the very last part is a little steep. So I think it's manageable for kids. I'm also going to be taking my baby, my 17-month-old baby. So if you're available and they would enjoy that, it's totally kid friendly. Our other members are going to be bringing their kids as well. Okay, so there might be a lot of kids there. All right. And then Jake, but love coming in from ATX. Are you bringing in love from ATX? Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. From Austin, Texas. Namaskar, bro. Great to see you. Tell us what else is going on with your life. How is life treating you this week? This past week? Okay. Now, let's go ahead and get started. I will play the kirtan for us, and then after that, we're going to do the guided meditation. All right. I'll see you all on that other side. I'm not going to explain how to do kirtan right now because I think all of us that have checked in during the chat are very familiar with it. So we'll just go ahead and get started.
Kevalam
Kevalam Bhavanam Bhavanamo Kevalamo Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanamo Kevalamo Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavana Bhavana Kevalam Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanam Bhavanamo Kevalamo Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanamo Kevalamo Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavana Kevalam Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanam Bhavanamo Kevalamo Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanamo Kevalamo Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavana Bhavana Kevalam Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanam Bhavanamo Kevalamo Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanamo Kevalamo Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavana Kevalam Bhava Go ahead and sit comfortably. Take your hands and interlace your fingers. Place your hands on your lap. When we get to the portion of repeating the mantra, if you already have your own personal mantra, then you can repeat it at that time, or even now, if you'd like, you can do your own meditation that you've been prescribed, and then come back to the broadcast when you are done. Go ahead, please, and monitor your lower back. Make sure the lower back is nice and straight, the upper back as well. And feel settled in the body. Do what is necessary to adjust and feel comfortable. body is a part of the meditation. Allow the body to be still and to be comfortable. Now focus on your breathing. As you inhale, expand the abdominal area all around. And as you exhale, relieve any tension in your body. Relieve the tension in your shoulders, in your muscles. As you breathe in air to any part of the body that might have any discomfort. And notice how the breath is not just good for slowing down the mind when you consciously observe your breathing, but also for bringing relief to the body. And with each inhalation and exhalation, feel a sense of gratitude and let that gratitude grow with each breathing cycle. And go ahead and continue your gratitude feeling, not just for each breath, but for life itself. Feel gratitude for arriving home. Your true home is your true essence. And so connect with this idea of embarking on a long journey and finally arriving home with the next few breaths. So, on your next inhalation, feel like you've embarked on a long and glorious journey. And on the exhalation, feel like you finally arrived home. And try that again for a few more breaths. You can go ahead and, on the inhalation, say to yourself, I've embarked on a long journey. And on the exhalation, and I finally arrived home. I've embarked on a long and glorious journey, and I finally arrived home. And now feel as though your home is that supreme consciousness of the universe. And begin to now take your mind there. Expand the mind with the thoughts of the infinite. Let yourself drift toward the supreme consciousness. And as you do that, try to see it from the perspective of that supreme beloved. How that supreme beloved is always meditating on you, always sheltering you, and how flattered it feels that you are now meditating on it more closely in a concentrated fashion. And so you can begin to repeat the mantra, Baba Nam Kevalam, silently to yourself. And as you concentrate on the mantra and what it means, let yourself be free and let yourself flow in a steady stream toward the Supreme. We'll meditate for a few more minutes, and I will cue you when it is time to come back. go ahead and start to come back and begin by reconnecting with the body. Take a moment to massage your legs, massage your shoulders. Be gentle and loving with yourself. And reconnect with the mind. Observe it one more time. How do you feel? And before we open the eyes, go ahead and visualize everybody meditating with you right now. All of our dear community of spiritual aspirants, the perfect candidates for Buddhahood, but yet in different parts of their journey. And so send your light and love to each one as best as you can visualize and imagine all holding hands in a circle and allow your love and light to flow through that circle. And feel that love and light expand outward. And we can start to open the eyes. So, namaskar. Namaskar, everybody. Hope you enjoyed your meditation today. Hope you had a great meditation. And now let's go ahead and get into our discussion. So, today I wanted to touch again upon a previous secret of success that we've talked about in the past, and that is all around self restraint, one of the 7 secrets of success. And I have been revisiting those. It's been some time that we've been talking about those because I've been trying to look at them from different angles, different perspectives, new insights on each one. And today, I thought we would talk about all around self restraint by focusing on how to cultivate discipline. So, if anybody has any ideas on that, then I want to invite you to share those. Okay. Any ideas for how to do that that you might have already been brainstorming? I also posted that question on my Facebook profile and got some really great responses. But I'd like to actually reframe all around self restraint and think about it in terms of addiction. So I'd like for you right now to think of a family member, a friend, someone that you might know that you know of that has problems with addiction. Can be drug addiction, can be video game addiction. I think all of us to some degree have social media addiction. We all have to learn how to control our social media habits. Here we are on partly on Facebook. Um, Maybe in time we're going to develop a better platform also to gather. Who knows? I think YouTube is good, and we're also on YouTube, so that's fine. But without going into that, um, so think about your loved ones or friends that may have suffered from addiction. Why do you think they suffer from whatever addiction that they have? What do you think are the causes in their life? So I know I'm just kind of putting that question on you now, and you can take a little bit of time to think about it. I'd love to start reading your responses, but go ahead and take your time. In the meantime, um, I can start the discussion. I think that one of the main causes of addiction is a lack of connection. There's a disconnect in that person's life. So rather than it being a kind of escape, which seems to be a prevalent notion, actually, it is for lack of resources and a lack of um, uh, fulfillment. The most important fulfillment that comes into our life comes from having connections in life, being connected to those we love, being connected to meaningful work, meaningful occupations, um, meaningful experiences. When we are deprived of those things, I think then we become dependent on some external type of substance or external thing to fill in those gaps, to fill in that emptiness. So it's very easy to point the finger at an addict and say, and stage some kind of intervention. like like you may have seen that show Intervention, where the whole family gathers and surprises the addict and says, you're screwing up, man. You're screwing up. You gotta. We've had it with you. We've had it. If you don't change your ways, we're cutting you off. And but in reality, there's something there that is missing for that person, and even that person may not even know exactly what's missing for them. So you need a little help to get to that. Maybe a little your friends, your loved ones. It could be psychotherapy, could be obviously something as wonderful as AA and NA. I admire that community so much. I admire what they do a lot. Um, so let's go ahead and see some comments here. Well, namaskar, Gloria. So nice to have you. Thanks for joining. Let me know what your answer is to this question, okay? Please. And Peggy says, namaskar. My active alcoholism came from a lack of spiritual connection. So, thank you, Peggy. I love you so much. It's such a I love all of us here in our community very much. My heart just opens up. every time I see you all. And and Peggy, so you're saying from a lack of spiritual connection. I think that's absolutely the case for many people. You know, when you have a lack of spiritual connection, it means you have a disconnection from your true self. Because we, if we don't see ourselves as consciousness, as like a soul, consciousness that is connected to, you know, the consciousness of the universe, that we are like we are a thread. We are a unit consciousness, a drop of water, but mm, inside that drop of water is actually the same substance of the ocean, right? So we are a drop of water in the ocean, a unit consciousness in the vast infinite consciousness. But if we don't see ourselves like that, then that's what comes to mind when Peggy says a lack of spiritual connection. Then we see ourselves as perhaps our ego. Who is the ego? The doer. You define yourself by what you do. Well, me, I'm just a I'm just a secretary. I'm just a secretary. Uh, I just, I just take notes here. Or me, I'm a businessman. I'm a businesswoman. You know, um, I'm defined by my accomplishments. You know, my diplomas on the wall or whatever. So um, those finite forms of identification can keep you trapped in a very limited sense of who you are that ultimately is not going to make you happy uh, forever. That gets old, and then you try to reshape your identity, or then you define yourself by something new that you're doing, but you're always kind of chasing, you know. Whereas the yogi, the devotee, is defined by the supreme consciousness. I am that, and has a more infinite perspective, can see the infinite within oneself. And when you don't have that, you are defined by ego, right? Like I said, and that will lead to ego breakdown, because all the egos wind up at the shrink's office or wind up. Um, we all have problems. We all have problems because of because all of our physical things that we do have side effects in our mind. When it's consumed by finite thoughts, limited emotions, um, it's going to lead to some sort of limitation. And human beings don't want limitations. We have a thirst for the infinite. So thank you for explaining, for mentioning that, Peggy. And I want to I'd like to invite you to explain what you meant, um, perhaps, or add on to something that I said. I would love to hear your perspective on that. Actually, we have Bebe. Bebe is back. Namaskar, Bebe. Where have you been? And what are you up to? And how many visits is this for you? Okay, please let us know. Karen says addiction is adding something to fill a perceived void, to feel otherwise fulfilled. So is adding something. Yes, there's a perceived void. I agree. There's a perceived void. And, sometimes we just don't know how to fill the void. We don't know how to um this today Today is the beginning of this discussion. Okay. Next week, we're going to continue this discussion. And I also want to prepare some helpful strategies for us to discuss. Okay. So, but you're, what you're saying there is completely right on. And I kind of got stuck in my mind because I was thinking about, the people in my life, my family members who um, deal with addiction, have dealt with it in the past. Um, and the void that is there is sometimes is terrifying, and we just don't want to talk about it. You know, there's no point in talking about it. It seems too big for us to handle, and we can lose patience when others try to help us with it, but sometimes even they don't know. They are not, you know, well versed in this kind of thing. And sometimes our family members, they just shun us, They shun the addict, thinking that the addict is lazy or not trying hard enough or doesn't care. So, but really what needs to be worked on is filling the void, understanding the void and filling it. Bebe says, it's my second visit. Thank you for telling us. Wonderful to have you again. And tell us your thoughts on this topic, Bebe. Peggy says, I was looking for something outside of me to fill the void, a person on a new object, something to drink alcoholically to feel good. So sometimes we fill the void, and correct me if I'm not getting this right, Peggy. We fill the void perhaps with people, and we fill the void with objects, and sometimes that's okay, right? Because there may be a lack of social connection that is causing the addiction. So, we need to find a partner in life, unless you want to be a monk or a nun, which is okay. You can do that. Dedicate your full time to the supreme consciousness and to service to humanity. But if you're going to be a family, if you want a family and you see that you're going to be a family person in this life, which is perfectly natural, um, then you need those connections. The connection to partner, then later family, could be children. Um, and when these connections are severed, when someone we love, or when we break up with somebody, yeah, when someone we love and they break our heart, or we break their heart, and the relationship is severed. Oh boy, that lack of connection leads to a lot of pain because that person is so important to you, so important to you. And then you can, after that, you can go on a spree of drinking, smoking, to deal with that severance, or a spree of you know um, like trying to replace that person with other people. You can go on a rebound spree and do that a lot, you know. Um, and sometimes just using other people physically to fill a void, etc. Having sex, you know, um, mindlessly just to fill that void, but it's because there's a lack of, you've been severed from something that was important to you. Um, So let me know if I got that accurately there, Peggy, about, because this is a meaningful connection that we have, when you love somebody, when somebody is important to you, and you don't have access to that person, uh, you have a right to feel um, like you need some support there. So that's why the grieving process is something that is very much culturally respected by all, I think, for the most part. You let people grieve, especially if somebody has left physically that you love, left their body. Now, Graciela says, I went to several AA meetings as a kiddo. I honestly think the best way is to support and help our family members. For my dad, it was my siblings and I that inspired him to change. So you went to AA meetings with your dad, is that right? And I also went to like NA meetings with my relatives that needed that support. Mm. And you said for your dad, it was your siblings and you that inspired him to change. Can you describe that? Can you describe what do you think clicked in his mind to make him see that you all were worth replacing that habit, or you all could inspire him enough to move away from the habit? Peggy says, looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for love outside of myself did not bring me inner peace. So, and then, that helps us to question relationship, right? Relationship with fellow human beings is super important, very important, but it's not the only relationship. Then there is relationship with supreme consciousness, relationship with our supreme father, our supreme mother. And that's why we stress here the importance of that personal connection with the supreme consciousness, because that relationship is the one that never breaks your heart, never breaks your heart. You know, that's the one that's going to last forever, and the one where you'll always be sheltered. Um, hmm, I think that throughout all of our lives, we feel like we need a parent, you know? We and a lot of times we learn, which is a good thing, to be our own parent. That's very important. You gotta be a parent to yourself after some point. All the limitations of our parents, because they were who they were, they didn't know any better. If they knew better, they would have done better. But wherever it is that they got you, you take it from there and you become your own parent. I think that's very valid. But even then, you need a teacher, a mentor, somebody to fill that kind of role of someone to look up to. Well, the real guru is the supreme consciousness. The real father or mother, parental figure is also the supreme consciousness. So that's important to remember. You be your own parent, then you remember who your real parent is, the supreme. And the supreme speaks through your mentors, speaks through your teachers. Bebe says, as a person that has family members with addictions, I try to gain an understanding and be patient with them. And you're right on point with people trying to fill a void with things. Yeah. Thank you so much, Bebe. It seems, though, that this is contrary to our popular notions of addiction. Because I'll tell you how direct evidence that society does not know how to deal with addictions and is not looking at addictions in the way that you all are looking at it and understanding it. Because we had something called the war on drugs, right? The war on drugs was the demonization of addiction, the demonization of drugs and addiction. To you, a drug, to me, like I call a drug an intoxicant, right? But to somebody else who is an addict, a drug is a lifeline, right? A lifeline, or what's a better word? Medicine. Um, a tool, you know? So we could look at no different at some of the smaller addictions like social media. Social media is can be addictive, but it also has within it a connection that can be made. It has social connections. So we have to see, so that's kind of a value that's there. But with let's say heroin, now we have the opioid crisis in this country. And back in the day with, all the other drugs that are made illegal and demonized, and then people are punished for being addicts. They're thrown into prison for being addicts. Their lives are ruined for being addicts. They're shamed and shunned, not just by their family, but by society. Um, you know, like so many other things in this life, gosh, we are just standing on our heads. We're standing on our heads. And we need a more compassionate outlook, obviously. Graciela says, yes, we went to meetings. He wanted to break the chain as his mother drank. He did not want his children to continue. So that seems like a very decisive indicator that he realized, my mother drank, now I drink. Will my children drink? I don't want that to happen. Sometimes we need to stand up for other people in order to stand up for ourselves. I think that happens a lot. Maybe this is totally unrelated, but in cases where there was kidnapping and somebody who was kidnapped has been in captivity for, let's say, 10 years, if the kidnappers now take another person and bring them into captivity, suddenly now that wakes up that person that has been kidnapped for 10 years, and then they start to plot the escape, and they do it to save the new person that has been kidnapped. Sometimes we human beings have to stand up for others in order to stand up for ourselves. And now I'm completely speculating, but in that scenario of someone that was kidnapped for 10 years, could it be that they um, they didn't have any meaning in their life? Saving somebody else created meaning. Hence, even there's a lack of connection. When connection comes, things improve. So I want to thank you all for your comments. We can go ahead and start to close this discussion, and next week we'll talk more about this. And I think that one of the secrets of success is all around self-restraint, right? But we should, as we endeavor to look at that from different angles, we should think about then the role of addiction in a human being's life and what that has to do with self-restraint. I think one important premise to begin with there is saying that it's not always the individual that can be fully in control of their own self-restraint. You need a little help from others as well. Okay, so we'll be talking more about that next time. And right now, let's go ahead and close with just an announcement. Today, at some point, I will be releasing, there will be a new video on our YouTube channel, Tantra Thoughts. And the title of the video is have a deeper understanding of tantric meditation from a criminal. So I invite you to check out this new video and maybe right now you're wondering, what? What can a criminal teach about tantric meditation? Well, you're going to learn the story of one such criminal who became a tantric meditator, and how and what and through this story you will have a much, much, much deeper and more clear understanding of what tantric meditation is all about, and also the 8 limbs of Ashtanga yoga. So I hope you're excited about that. Check it out today. If you're subscribed to the Tantra Thoughts channel, then hopefully you get the notifications every time a new video is released. Okay. All right. So I look forward to seeing you in that video. If you like that video, go ahead and comment on it. Other than that, I love you all very much. Thank you for our session today. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Namaskar.